Hey friends, today we are going to spend some time in the cottage garden behind me. It is looking spectacular. June is definitely the month for the cottage garden. So we're going to do a quick little tour, and then I am going to add in a few extra perennials. So I'm going to share those with you and kind of give you a little bit of an idea of why I am adding them. So this cottage garden was installed, gosh, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and it is one of my favorite gardens. I know that's like saying, you know, you have a favorite child, but it is one of my favorites because this is a very high visibility area. As you can see, we are standing here right beside the driveway. So every time we come into the house, we see this. Also, with the house being right there, our kitchen is on that side. So when I'm standing there doing dishes or we're eating supper, we see this, and oh my goodness, absolutely love it. So let's do a quick little tour of what is going on in this bed. To give you a little perspective here, of course, you see the chicken coop up there on the hill, and so this is a beautiful kind of a tiered effect. Don't you just love, though, the architectural like aspect of having the chicken coop up there? And it's not even done yet, and I love having that structure up there. It really shows you like how high the elevation is up there. But anyway, I digress. So let's go through and just kind of give an overview of this space, and then we're going to talk about the plants that are showing off right now. I say that these two flower beds, they are sisters. They are not identical twins. This one is actually a little bit longer. It is a bigger bed than the one on the left. They have similar plants, some of the same repeating plants, but not necessarily in the same location. Before we get started too much into here, people are going to ask, they always do, what these plants are. The three evergreen trees that are nice and tall and pyramidal, those are Thuya green giants. Wonderful, excellent privacy screen because our hot mess of a tractor shed is behind it. Then the bright burgundy, or not bright, the big burgundy plants are loropetalums. They're massive, and yes, they are completely out of control. They need to be severely pruned, but there you go. They certainly make a beautiful statement right here. All right, coming on in, let's just talk about this. I have everything that's in here are perennials minus the Supertunia Mini Vista hot pinks right here on the steps, and then at the top we have the blue suede shoes salvias. Coming in, here we go. You ready? Let's do it. All right, we have the Midnight Masquerade Penstemon is here. It is in bloom. Fantastic pollinator attractor. I have a little bumblebee in there. I don't know if you can see that. The bad thing about these loropetalums getting so big is clearly my plants are not getting enough sun. So you can see that it's leaning just a little bit. If this were getting full sun, it would be nice and straight. We've got some native Amsonia right here. We've got lots of beautiful proven winter daylilies. This is Nosferatu. It is a late bloomer. It is a deep purple. So it's filled with buds, but it is not blooming yet. And then see what I'm talking about? Poor ruby spider way back there is getting buried. So we have got to get in here and prune this. One of my lemon meringue baptisias. This is the smaller of the two because it's getting less light. Beautiful guara. We sell this. This is the Stratosphere Pink. And so we sell it as an annual, but it is a perennial for us. Beautiful, again, another pollinator plant. Bees in there, nice wispy. I've got honeybees, I've got bumblebees, because right behind me are, or rather in front of me behind these plants, are my 5 garden boxes. So of course I want to welcome my pollinators into this space so that we have, well, a healthy environment and then delicious food. Primal Scream daylily, that rainbow rhythm daylily. This is Primal Scream. Big, beautiful, bold color. And look at all the buds that are on this plant. Y'all, we are about to get a massive explosion of color. I've never divided these plants. They went in as 1 gallons, and they are very happy, very healthy, just doing great. I have a little butterfly bush. This is the Lo and Behold, I just forgot the name. I think it's Lo and Behold Pink. It was a test plant that Proven Winners sent to us. It's been here for, I think this will be its 3rd year. struggled for a little while, and now it is doing great. Monarda, I'm a huge fan of Monarda. This is the Leading Lady Pink. Leading Lady is great because it is nice and petite. Again, another great pollinator attractor. I have got a bumblebee hanging out back there that's just having the most fun and taking a little sip on all sorts of things. And then this beautiful daylily behind the Monarda. This is the Shalom Peony Display. These buds are not quite open yet. I've got another one on the other side. I'll show it to you. Really petite daylily. Unfortunately, this daylily has been discontinued from Proven Winners. Not necessarily because of its lack of performance in the garden. They were having a hard time, as I recall, producing enough of it because it is a slow grower. So as far as trying for them to keep up with demand was really, really hard. So if you see one or you have a friend that has one and they want to divide it, grab it because it is a really fun, very different daylily, nice and short. This is as tall as it gets. You can see we have Babe the Pig from Unique Stone, and so the Shalom Peony Display fits in just perfectly right there. I've got some cute little solar lights. Got these from Wind and Weather, a really fun new garden company that I found. So they are solar lights, kind of that stained glass, fantastic. Banana Cream 2, that's right, the Amazing Daisies Banana Cream 2. I love the Amazing Daisies. Banana Cream 2 is great because of its color, right? So it'll start out a really nice soft banana yellow. It opens up, still keeps that yellow. I don't have an older bloom quite yet. This would be my oldest back here, but they'll turn practically white. So on the same plant, you have both yellows and whites all together. We've got a little allium back here. I believe this is Millennium. It's not Serendipity. I want to say that's Millennium. Been in there for a while. Clearly, it probably needs to be moved because it's in the wrong location. My spiderwort is really happy this year. I believe this is called Charlotte's Web. It's been in here for a long time. So yeah, poor little Millennium is getting swallowed up. Last year, I added liatris to the space in front of my Heartwood birdhouse. This is a bluebird house from our friends at Heartwood down in Star, Mississippi. Added the liatris. I thought it would just be a fun texture, kind of hide a little bit of the post that's so big. But liatris is a great classic cottage garden plant, makes great cut flowers, does really well in arrangements. But this whole stem will be purple. So you'll have purple blooms and all these stalks right here will be buds. So that's a fun little addition. Another Nosferatu that is not blooming, but look at that ruby spider. Yep, trying to get in there without stepping on some plants. So I'm not the best about deadheading my daylilies. I have sweet friends, Jim and Wanda, who are massive daylily growers, just like amazing daylilies. They go out and deadhead every morning. I'm not quite that good about doing that. But regardless whether you do or not, ruby spider is just stunning. And look how big this clump is. I would say from end to end it's at least 3 feet, and I can't even begin to tell you how many flower buds are on that plant. So nice. Yes, so we've got of course the solar lights from Hose Link. We talked about that. Remember, we're doing a fun giveaway, and if you use the term the code Creekside, then you get 10% off your order. So when they were doing y'all will understand this. When they were came here for, I can't even talk. When they came here for the photo shoot, and I didn't prepare this bed like fully because I didn't think they were going to be here. Like, why would they be in this bed? And Annie started putting these lights right here, and this area right here, it was bad. Like, there was no mulch, there was some weeds, it didn't look good. And I was like, oh no, that's going to be in the photo shoot. So Jerry and I were both thinking the same thing. So he went to go grab mulch. I went to go grab plants. I was like, oh no, no, no. We're going to dress this up. So we got it all dressed up, but really that's going to be my only annuals in this space this year. As my perennials have grown and developed, I have done less and less annuals. When I first put these in, we used a bunch of annuals to fill in this space. Perennials have grown, and so we're using less, which, hey, I love that. So we have those. Over here we have a little bit of a different space, a little bit of some different plants. Up there at the top you will see the nefofia. I have two different nefofias in here. These are the Pyromania series from Proven Winners. The names, the specific names have just gone off my radar, but these for us are continuous bloomers. You can see that I've got a great stand up here. They have that beautiful ombre effect to them. I was in here deadheading, so if you can deadhead, that would be a good thing. For example, this guy right here is about ready to be deadheaded. So all you do is you find the stalk, go all the way down where you can't see it, and then just clip it. No big deal. And you can see we've got more babies coming up, but just a really beautiful, start out orange, and then as they age, you'll go to a yellow and then a white. Fantastic plant for us. And then let's see what else we got in here. We've got some ultraviolet, luminary ultraviolet phlox. It is not blooming yet, so it will be a nice hot pink in here. Daylilies, so you see we're repeating some of the same things, right? This is the opening act phlox. We've got those in. They are on the downside of blooming. I've got some great butterfly weed in here, support my monarchs and everybody, so they're getting ready to bloom. This is where the Miss Huff lantana was, remember that? And we put in Princess Anne. So Princess Anne is a David Austin rose. I got it in the standard form. I just put it in this year, y'all, right? And look at this. This is what happens when you buy high quality stock from very reputable breeders. You get gorgeous color your very first year. And so let me show you this. So excited about this. Everybody loves this, all of our family, but look at that. Princess Anne, she'll put on, if you notice, like looking up here, how many buds are in a group. So then when they all bloom, you have these massive clumps, right? And she smells divine, absolutely divine. So love that. A tip on your David Austins, because people ask about where, you know, do we sell David Austins? How do I get David Austins? We personally don't sell David Austins here, and we could. But for me, as a grower, as a retailer, I'm like, how in the world am I supposed to choose which David Austins to carry? Because they have such a vast line. And so I just tell people, do what I do. Just go straight to David Austin's website and order them there. That way you get exactly what you want. You can get them as potted plants. You can get them as bare roots. I always choose to get them as bare roots. If you go to their website now, it might say sold out on a ton of their stuff. It's just because it's that time of year. They've just shipped all of their plants. So just wait a little bit. It's kind of like bulbs, right? If you go to buy spring bulbs in February, March, a lot of it's going to say sold out. So you buy your bulbs in the fall, right? Kind of the same thing with your roses. With David Austin, late summer, early fall, winter, that is a great time to place your order for your roses because their inventory is all back in stock. So begin shopping, begin thinking, begin dreaming, and then later this summer, then you can place your order. So just go to David Austin's website for that. Now, this beautiful thing is the Primal Scream that is in all of her glory. Now, again, I should probably come in here and deadhead. To deadhead, all you do is just simply pull them off like that, right? It makes the plant look so much better, and it cleans it up, and they just come off. So it's not hard to do. It's just if you have time, go for it. And if you don't, if you're like me, do it when you can, and maybe before you shoot a video. That might be a good thing to do. But look at Primal Scream. Look at these. That's the Rainbow Rhythm series. Massive, massive blooms. And I personally love the bold colors in this cottage garden. I have got, flaming orange next to hot pink. I personally love it. I think it is so much fun. Another banana cream too, right here. So we're repeating that. This is the Scaevola. This is the white Scaevola. It's going to be we're testing it this year. So far, I love it. So I thought, hey, let's just pop in a nice solid thing of white right here. And then that, my friends, that beast in the back, that is the other lemon meringue. When I say it's probably 5 feet across, I am not exaggerating. This thing is massive. Baptisia don't like to be moved because they have a very deep taproot. So she's hanging out and she's gonna do great there. Then another ruby spider, sweet little butterfly house from Heartwood. You can see it got a cute little frogs on the bicycle, little wind spinner. That also is from Wind and Weather. Ruby spider. Then here is that other Shalom peony display. This is an older bloom, so it's not quite in her prime, but you can see just how beautiful it is. So what are we gonna plant today? Well, we've got a couple of holes. Mainly here, we've got some holes, possibly here, we'll see, and then some along in the back. So I've got my faithful Johnny that we already have the plants loaded up. Brenna and I went and grabbed them. So let's go through and let's talk about what we're gonna plant in here. I basically have 4 different plants. I have 2 of the brand new Agastaki from Proven Winners. This is the Meant to Be series. We have talked about this numerous times. This is the Meant to Be Queen Nectarine. So there is your tag, a beautiful peach orange with some pink in there. This is going to be one of the shorter of the 2. This is going to be, let me see. It's going to be about 30 to 36 inches tall and about 3 feet wide. Then we have over here, we have its companion piece. Look at the foliage color difference though. Raspberry, this is, royal raspberry, Meant to Be royal raspberry. Really nice dark foliage, green foliage. Beautiful raspberry, peachy color. We're actually going to intermingle these and plant these more up to the top because the royal raspberry I thought was the taller one. Nope, I think it's actually the shorter one. It is. Whoops, well I got those wrong, didn't I? Huh. All right, Queen Nectarine taller, royal raspberry a little shorter. Massive pollinator attractor. They do like to have really well draining soil. So for that reason and the reason that they're going to be a little bit taller, we're going to put them towards the back and we're just going to kind of intermingle those together. So we have got those. These are going to be hardy in zones 6 to 9, well draining soil. Perfect for your late, they start blooming now and they go all the way through the season. Massive pollinator attractor, hummingbird attractor. I mean, like all the wonderful things. They are going to be more rabbit and deer resistant because they are in that mint family and they have a lovely, delicious minty fragrance when you rub their leaves. So, love that. So we're going to do those. Then we are also going to do a Achillea, a yarrow. This one, the particular color is new for me. This is Firefly Peach Sky. It will be 32 to 36 inches tall. You can see that it's got this beautiful fern-like foliage. We've already got some buds popping up. I have been doing the yellow one. I think it's Sunshine. The brain is not working well this morning, y'all. I apologize. In the backyard, and it is doing great. So these are going to be, again, about 3 feet tall. So they are going to have some height to them. They're going to have light peachy orange flowers that age to yellow. I love that. It'll fit in perfectly there. And very tall, upright habit. It is not floppy whatsoever, and it does not spread crazy like other Achilleas that you may be familiar with from years gone by. It needs that full sun, well-drained soil. Love this. Avoid planting in rich soil. That means the worse your soil is, the better this plant will do. We can handle that one, can't we? Hardy in zones 3 to 8. So it works really well with Shasta daisies, perfect. Coneflowers, daylilies, got that covered. And catmint. Well, speaking of catmint, I don't currently have any in the bed, but guess what we're going to add next? That's right, my friends. This is Marvelette Blue. And Marvelette Blue is a beautiful Nepeta catmint that is going to have, it's only going to be 10 to 12 inches tall. So this is going to be one that goes towards the front of our border. You're going to space them about a foot apart, hardy in zones 5 to 9, and again, pairs beautifully with daylilies, Shasta daisies. So it's going to fit in quite nicely. Now, the Agastaki and the Achillea, those are from proven winners. The Marvelette Blue is what we call non-branded. So that means it should be widely available. Again, I read this one, I read this in one of my gardening magazines, and I contacted our friend Cottage at Walter's Gardens. I was like, hey, do you have Marvelette Blue? Will this be a good one for me to grow? And she's like, yes, it's great, it's wonderful. So here we are. Now, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna set the camera up and I'm gonna figure out the placement, and then I'll meet you back here in just a minute. Got all of the perennials placed in the cottage garden where I want them. So it's going to be really straightforward and easy on how we're going to get them in the ground. I'm going to, I have my power planter auger. So I'm going to be using my 5-inch, it's the heavy duty tip on this one, because we do have clay soil, right? If you have thick clay soil like I do, that heavy duty tip makes all the difference in the world. The 5-inch drill bit for us is the most versatile because I can do annuals, I can do gallons. It's going to be smaller than what my gallon is, but if I kind of work my hole, then it will do really well. I could use the 9-inch on here, but that would just make a massive hole and it would kind of send soil everywhere. And since we've already put down our mulch this year, I'm trying to make as minimal of a mess as absolutely possible. I do have irrigation lines in here, so I just need to be aware of that when I am drilling my holes, because this will pierce your irrigation lines, that soft tubing, so you just gotta be careful on that. There's no electrical lines in here because I have my solar lights from Hoselink, so I don't have to worry about that. It's great. Everybody is going to get a shot of Biotone starter fertilizer. That is the only fertilizer you need. It truly is a starter fertilizer. So it is for healthy root growth, makes these plants get a nice, great start. If you feel like you need to come back and fertilize, wait about 4 to 6 weeks after you use your Biotone, and then you can come back with your plant tone or whatever it may be. And this is for, I use Biotone definitely for every tree, shrub, perennial, and then sometimes annuals just when I have it, or if it's going to be in a location that I need a good strong root growth because I'm not going to be able to baby them, I'll use Biotone there as well. We do have thick clay soil, so I will make sure that my perennials are not buried too deep. It is on a slope, so that presents a little bit of a challenge. So when you're planting on a slope, you're thinking about the back end, the high end of the hill. That root system needs to be up a little bit, not too far down, because water will come, and so you can build up your soil on the front end. Don't bury it too deep on the back end. So without further ado, it's gonna be pretty straightforward. We're gonna get these sweet things in the ground, and then when we're done, I'm gonna show you how the whole thing looks together. right, folks, we finished today's project just in the nick of time because the sun's coming up and starting to bear down on me. Got everybody in the ground. Love it. Jerry came over from doing something. We were just talking about how gorgeous this whole area is. Cannot wait to see how this area just grows and develops, because already I do adore it. So let me show you where exactly I placed these perennials and then give you kind of some ideas of what my thinking was in my placement of them. So we're gonna flip around right here. Okay, right below the Shalom peony display, right beside my Amsonia. This is a native Amsonia. I think it's Arkansas Blue Star. We've got the two Marvelet Blue Nepitas. Now I put them pretty close together because I want them to grow as one plant. Because they are going to be on a little bit of the smaller side, I put them that close together so they can grow and be nice and happy. Now you might say, well Jenny, your Amsonia is like getting out of control. Yes it is. Great thing about Amsonia, you can cut it back. So probably next week I'm going to come in here with my electric trimmers and just shear it back by half. I will not get a fresh set of blooms, but it will tighten it up and it will not be floppy. So if you have Amsonia, you can do that. You can also do it to your Baptisias. So it just kind of helps make sure it's a nice, tight, compact growth. Now, right beside of that, we put the Peach Sky. I gave this one plenty of room to grow because it will get nice and big. I think it's like, what was it? 24, 30 inches wide, almost 3 feet tall. I think it said 3 feet tall. That's awful crazy. But anyway, that would include the blooms. Now you might say, but it's gonna hide your iris. Well, my iris is an early spring bloomer. It's one of the very first things to bloom, and then I just have structure. So it's totally fine that this grows up and fills in. Same thing with the daylily over here. So that'll be a nice statement piece right there, that with nice, beautiful, continuous blooms on it. Then we came back over here, right next door to it, with the royal raspberry. Nice, pretty dark foliage on it. I like having the color contrast with the achillea right here, then the agastache, and then right next door to the banana cream to Shasta daisy. So that will fill in and get nice and full, beautiful structure, especially for a late summer color. And it's not gonna hide the allium back there, so everybody can see, be seen and be the star of the show. So that's what we did down here. Putting this agastache down at the bottom, it's gonna get a little bit more water. So this is gonna be a little test to see how that does. All the other agastaches came up here to the top. And because we see this bed from so many different angles, right? So when you come up the steps, there is that royal raspberry right there. So again, a nice, really pretty color contrast with the daylilies and the nefofia. And then here along the back, as we go up, then we've got two of the queen nectarines. That way I've got them on kind of each side of the salvia. That peachy pink will be really pretty against the, see, we're dealing with the sun here, folks. Really pretty with the salvias, and nice height, fill in. And then if I'm in the garden, right? So here I am in the garden, and now this becomes the front of my flower bed because of where I am. Same thing as we work our way down here. Here I did a little bit more intentional, kind of just staggered every other one all along the back. So we've got two queen nectarines down here, and then with the royal raspberry in between, and then a royal raspberry down there, really kind of almost in front of the queen nectarine, because when we're coming through, right? So from this angle, you will have them all along the back, and then you've got that one right there. So that takes care of all the agastache. So that's fun. And then I did kind of the same thing down here with the other Marvelet blues, except I didn't do them side by side. I did them front to back because that is the space that I had. So they will tuck nicely right in there beside the banana cream too, and the Charlotte's Web. And then moving on over right behind Babe, we have the other Achillea. So that will fill in this space quite nicely. There is still some room, right? So we still have room for a few other plants in here. If the mood strikes, Jenny can always find a little, I can always find a little nugget of a space to plant some more things in there. But really get out to your local garden center, especially, you know, we go out in the spring, kind of the summertime hits and we get busy with vacations and graduations and trips and going to the pool and all this other stuff. Hit up your local garden center, because your warm weather plants are starting to really kind of come in, starting to show some color. Get out there and just kind of add to your gardens with those perennials. It is never too late to add those perennials to your garden throughout the growing season, because they're going to give you such structure, help support those pollinators. If you've got a garden, whether it is raised beds or you have a big vegetable garden or you have a container garden, whatever it is, do some companion planting with perennials that support the pollinators. You will get delicious rewards from that as well. As always, thanks so much for growing with Creekside. We hope you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Y'all have a fantastic day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.